Hey guys, Cam from 15, joined by my Uncle Darrell. We're back with another NFL video for you guys as this time we're talking NFL free agency in general. A lot has happened over the past 3, 4 days. Certain moves that, happened that I was like shocked, and then, just signings that I'm just like kind of dumbfounded about, but it is what it is for the majority of the part. Again, we're Bears fans. If you're new to the channel, yada yada yada. We already talked some of the Bears signings. Now as of I don't know when this video is gonna go up. Probably Saturday it's gonna go up when I have time. But as of Friday, I did upload my second wave of Chicago Bears free agents. If we get to the Bears in this video, which we should, we'll definitely talk about that just as objective as we can. But we're gonna go through all the 32 teams and the moves they have made so far. And obviously, number one right now, I guess we can just get this out the way, even though it's not really official. But Aaron Rodgers finally made up his damn mind, and he is going to be leaving the NFC North. And he's going to be joining the Green Bay Packers. Now, officially, the trade has yet to happen. I guess the Jets and the Packers are working through whatever deal that needs to happen. Now, if the Packers really want Aaron Rodgers off their damn hands, you just trade him and you just take whatever the Jets give you back. But obviously, they're trying to see if the Jets will give up a first-round pick. Personally, if you ask me, I think they're looking for more first-round picks. I think if I was in the Jets' shoes, I would say, well, I'm only going to give you one because he's an older quarterback, albeit, yes, he's an all-pro and things like that. He's a quarterback who's like 35 years plus, pretty much. You're only getting one first-round pick from
He's
him.
creeping up on 40, but I think, 39? I think what he
He's
is.
like
And I'm pretty
35
sure
or 36 or 37. I don't know.
I thought he was older than that, man. You might have to look up that one. But
Yeah.
I think he's, pretty much on the bottom feeding part of 40. You know, but yeah, I think the Packers are more
He's
interested in
39. You're right.
39. I mean, I think the Packers are more interested in getting rid of that price tag.
Yeah.
So that said, I'm really looking forward to the plummet of the Packers. I don't believe Jordan Love is the answer at quarterback.
Yep.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers thought Jordan Love was the answer at quarterback, which started the whole the spiraling of the relationship between the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. But hey man, that's the business of football. So we'll see where that goes. Does the Jets have a wide receiver core that's to do anything in that division? We'll see. But yeah, it looks
Garrett
like Aaron
Wilson,
Rodgers.
he was great. You don't think Garrett Wilson's that good? I think Garrett Wilson's clearly their number one.
Good. I mean, he's good.
He's clearly their number one though.
Well, clearly, but
then again, you had Aaron Rodgers. He put down those demands, of who he wants. He wants OBJ. He wants old ass Mercedes Lewis, even though they got CJ Usman-Zaw. They're tight end.
It's Aaron Rodgers, man. He's coming up in here, playing bully ball with everyone. This is what I want. That's what I want. If you want me, I got a Super Bowl ring, and I'm, okay, all right,
Hold on a quick second, guys. I'll be back real quick. All right, we're back as my dog's in my face right now. Look, I think for what the Jets need to at least be competitive in that division, because the Dolphins got better and the Patriots, I guess to an extent, also got a little bit better with some of the moves they have made. So far the Bills look like they're the team that so far I feel like they haven't made enough moves to I guess stay relevant, and that division definitely looks like it's going to be starting to evening out a bit, and Buffalo looks like they're not going to be running that division anytime soon. But
well, it looks like the Dolphins are on track to, to be the leaders in that division. Uh, just because Buffalo didn't make any moves does not mean that they lost control of the division. Just because the Jets got Aaron Rodgers don't mean that they've made a step forward to taking the division. So, but the Dolphins did make one really good splash with Jalen Ramsey. Let's see where that goes. I honestly still feel and still believe that the problems with the Dolphins, believe it or not, for me, from where I sit, is at the quarterback position. If Tua can stay healthy throughout an entire season, that forebodes a really good ending for the Dolphins. The Bills, I mean, them standing pat for me um, doesn't really, say much. You know, they were the better team in that division last year, and I'm pretty sure they'll probably wait until all the other fuff and thud and bluster is already in there, and they'll fill positions as they need them.
Yeah. So starting off with the Arizona Cardinals, they made so far in this offseason two signings. Now they signed or they re-signed both their offensive linemen, Will Hernandez and Kevin Beecham. Hey, you do what you do to resign your offensive linemen. If they were consistent enough for you, the previous year,
Yeah.
well, you got to resign them. Will Hernandez, he re-signed on a 2-year, 9 million deal. And then Kelvin Beecham, he re-signed on a 2-year, $5.15 million deal. So pretty much cheap deals for the those two players. Really nothing else to say there. I'm looking at the list of departures that they had, as I'm pulling it up right about now. Right now, some departures they have: Trace McSorley, Darrell Williams, Chosen Anderson, Farrell Cooper, AJ Green. He retired. Max William, their guard Cody Ford. He ended up leaving for the Bengals. Max Garcia, Justin Pugh, Sean Harlow, Rodney Hudson, Billy Price. Some of them are just simple dudes. Zach Allen, he left for the Broncos. J.J. Watt retired. I'm just naming some of their bigger guys. Tristan Hill, he left for the Broncos. Byron Murphy left for the Vikings. Andy Lee, he I guess currently a free agent, but nothing really else.
Mhm.
Any discussions about their moves or no?
No, no. Arizona is has been a teetering on a power kick past, a few months. Starting with JJ Watt's retirement, and then you know the coach leaving or firing or whatever
Yeah.
really happened to him. So they're looking like a last place team next year, and that NFC West, man, it doesn't seem like they're trying to keep up with the other teams in the NFC West, and yeah, it's looking like a last place finish for them.
Yeah, and we forgot to mention, DeAndre Hopkins. They said like they're gonna look to trade him too. So
Yeah, I mean he's the only trade guy, but at the same time he's a receiver. I mean, they're on top of the wide receivers often injured. So
yeah.
it's they not looking good.
Yeah. The Atlanta Falcons, they made some moves. One of their first moves they made, I would probably say, other than their offensive lineman re-signing, probably their biggest move they made in free agency so far is signing Jesse Bates the third, the safety coming over from the Cincinnati Bengals. He signed on a 4-year, $64 million deal. Um, I think it's, clearly they're building a defense there. For them, I like the move. You get a veteran safety that's been to the Super Bowl. Obviously, he's he's going to be a leader within that locker room. Um, it's a, I would say it's interesting that they paid him 64 mil. I think he's like now one of the highest paid safeties in the game. I think he's good, but I guess for the Falcons, that's the price they want. So you got to do what you got to do for business. Your thoughts on the move? Uh-oh. Okay, we're back after some technical difficulties. I just got done talking about Jesse Bates. I'm gonna turn over to my uncle to discuss about Jesse Bates.
The thing for me is when we're talking about uh, Atlanta, is I don't think they did really bad.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. They let Marcus Mariota go, picked up Taylor Heineke. Jesse Bates, solid center um, with the Cincinnati Bengals. So I mean, the signings that Atlanta did make are pretty good. Especially they also signed a couple of offensive linemen as well, because you know what, Atlanta was one of the better running teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see where that goes in that tough division of the NFC South. One game really makes the difference in the NFC South, and I think Atlanta made some moves to move closer to retain that, getting that division, I should say.
Yeah. They re-signed Charles Lindstrom. They gave him 5 years, 105 million, 63 million guaranteed. He was a solid offensive lineman for them. They ended up signing David Onemata. Don't know if I butchered that name. He's a defensive lineman. His previous team was New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
He got a 3-year, $35 million deal with 24.5 million guaranteed. His stats last year is he had 43 combined tackles, 5 sacks, 1 fumble recovery. I think that's a good pickup for them again to help out their defense. Obviously, they they were building the trenches. Anything to say about that move?
Oh, what David
On David Onemata?
Onyemaya, I think it's
Yeah.
Onemata. Yeah, I mean, anytime you sign interior linemen, it's a good thing in the NFL because games are won and lost at the line of scrimmage, and if you can get really good push and you can dominate your opponent at the line of scrimmage, that's a good thing in the NFL. And that was one of the things that Atlanta tried to do last year. The unfortunate part is they just didn't have any quarterbacks. So I think Taylor Heineke would be a nice addition, to the squad. And let's see what happens, because Carolina, obviously made some moves. Atlanta obviously made some moves. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady retired. The division is for the taking, and right now Atlanta seems to be, for me, from where I sit, the front runner.
So you think Taylor Heineke has a chance to start for the Falcons over Desmond Ritter?
Well, I mean, he has a chance to start. What does the other teams in the division have a chance to do? So Atlanta, as far as the teams in that division, I mean, the Saints look good in that division, but again, what, 8-9 wins will probably win that division. And looking at what Atlanta has done, they don't seem to be too far from it.
Yeah. They also re-signed Caleb McGarry, their offensive tackle, I believe, to
3 years.
For $34.5 million deal. It was kind of one of those offensive tackles that I wanted the Bears to go after, but I guess Foles never valued him. So yeah, that's kind of the thing.
No.
Solid moves again by the Falcons. They look to be a pretty tough team to beat in that AFC South. They were competitive last year. They just started Desmond Ritter, and then what happened there. So go ahead.
I'm gonna say rookie, man. When you start, starting a rookie, then for me, that's probably where you teeter on the edge of my season's over. It depends on who the rookie is. Yeah. And that's what happened with Atlanta. They were just like, yeah, man, let's just go ahead and see what the rookie can do.
Yeah. Going over to the Buffalo Bills, they made so far only 2 moves. They signed Connor McGovern, the guard from the Dallas Cowboys. They gave him a 3-year, $23 million deal. He in 15 starts, he only gave up 2 sacks. Look, that's a solid offensive lineman right then and there. That was one of their aspects they actually did need to improve on their team. They did need to improve on the offensive line because it just wasn't good enough this year for them. So obviously, again, any way to improve your offensive line in the trenches, do it. And then, although there is no reported terms of the deal, they did make an agreement to resign Jordan Poyer, their safety. So good for them.
And they extended Matt Milano too. So I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh yeah. I don't see that. I don't know why they have it. They extended Matt
yeah, they
Milano.
extended Matt Milano as well too. So it's just one of them things. Whereas Buffalo is, they're not really, you know, they're at the point where it's you know what, it's Super Bowl or bust for us. So let's just go ahead and tinker with a couple positions, and we can still win this division. We still got the best quarterback in the division. I think we're fine.
I honestly think they're not going to get to a Super Bowl with Josh Allen with the way they're constructed right now, because I think in my honest opinion, I think we've already said this, but I think this is going to be the last year for Sean McDermott. If they can't make a Super Bowl with Sean McDermott, I think he's going to be fired.
Well, I mean, it's they focus more on the pass than they do the run.
That is true.
Look at how Kansas City won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
They put Mahomes behind center. So hopefully, McDermott and all the offensive so-called gurus in Buffalo, they look at that and be like, hey, wow, running the football actually works. Yes, it does. It really does. It puts years on your quarterback, and that way you don't have to jump on his shoulders, and you can only jump on his shoulders, should I say, when times are needed. So, I see that they didn't really sign a running back.
Yeah.
Whereas they let Devin Singletary go, I think. So
yeah, I guess they trust James Cook a lot, and maybe they might draft a running back in the draft.
Maybe, who knows? But we'll see. You got a couple of really good running backs in the draft. You might be able to pick up in the 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah. The Bills also released their wide receiver Isaiah McKenzie as well. So. Yeah, and apparently, I guess there's rumors.
No, he had injury issues.
Yeah, and apparently, I guess there's rumors.
He had injury. I was going to say he had injury issues, so he really didn't contribute greatly. He had that concussion, I think, that really hurt him early in the season. So, best of luck to him, and I'm pretty sure he'll latch on with somebody else.
Yeah, and then I think there's rumors saying that they might even trade or might entertain trading Gabe Davis. I don't think that's a good move, but all right.
I don't think that's a good move. I mean, you might want to entertain trade. You can entertain trading Stephon Diggs.
Really at this point?
I think at this point, man, you might want to think about it.
Was it because of that sideline thing when he was getting at in Josh Allen's?
The last couple of years, by them not, going to the Super Bowl, he's kind of made himself bigger than the team in a sense with his frustrations. Okay. So, most times, if he is a malcontent, get rid of him. But if he isn't, and he's still locked in for another season, bring him back because he's an amazing talent.
Moving on to the Carolina Panthers now. I think as Bear fans, we hope that this team sucks so much that at least it's a top 10 or what we hope is a top 5 draft pick, because we have their first round draft pick for next year. But some of the additions they made, they look like they could, especially with the fact that if they take a quarterback in this year's draft, because there's rumors that they might freaking trade back with that first pick and probably, I guess, recuperate the assets the draft capital they lost from the trade with the Bears. Now, personally, if you're going to draft a quarterback, that's going to make up the freaking assets you just traded to the Bears anyways. But
that would make no sense right now. You trade for the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
And then you trade the pick after trading for the pick. It makes no sense. They got a guy in mind. I'm pretty sure they'll use it. They signed Andy Dalton, which also tells me that Andy Dalton is probably going to be their starter, where whoever they draft learn the position. Yeah.
I don't believe that. I think Andy Dalton's just brought in to be the backup, and whoever they draft as the quarterback, that's your starting quarterback. They're going to let him learn on the fly.
Maybe, but
you think Frank Wright would really do freaking the Matt Nagy special he did with Justin Fields?
No, I think I think Frank Reich is going to make sure that whoever he's ready day one.
Yeah.
At least get up in there and perform. Frank Reich for me is a competent head coach. Um, you know, should he have the Carolina job? I mean, that's debatable.
Yeah.
You know, but when he was in Indy and he had a quarterback, he was quite successful. So again, we'll see. But they did make some really good solid signings. Von Bell, Hayden Hurst, Miles Sanders. So I mean, he did make some competent moves. Um, so we'll see.
Yep.
You know, that division is still the Jackson Jaguars division, in my opinion, to lose.
Skip put the Panthers. They're not in the.
Oh, I'm sorry, not the Panthers. I mean the Saints. The
Yeah.
Saints are still for me the team to beat in that division.
Yeah. Several of the Carolina Panthers moves. They re-signed Bradley Bozeman, their center, to a 3-year, $18 million deal. He started
Yep.
or he played all 17 games, but he started in 11. They signed Shai Tuttle, the defensive lineman from the New Orleans Saints. Signed him to a 3-year, $19.5 million deal, $13 million guaranteed. Last year, he had 49 combined tackles, 2 sacks. Solid pickup for them right there. Hayden Hurst, they got Hayden Hurst from Cincinnati on a 3-year deal. It doesn't list what he signed for, but he was pretty solid for the Bengals the last few years.
Yeah, he was a
Most of
nice
these guys,
stopgap. He was a nice stopgap between the numbers for the Buffalo. I mean, not Buffalo, so the Cincinnati Bengals. So I mean, I don't. Without a quarterback, man, it's kind of hard to sit up here and say Hayden Hurst was a good signing. So,
well, they're going to draft a quarterback.
well, yeah, but quarterback has got to have a really good rapport. But when you start putting veterans around that rookie, like it looked like they have with the signings they've made, tight end, running back, center, and then on top of that, another quarterback who I believe is going to be well. If they draft Bryce Young is ready day one.
I think CJ Stroud or Bryce Young are the only quarterbacks that start day one for any teams they get drafted.
I don't know about CJ Stroud, but Bryce Young for me is a cat that'll be ready day one.
Von Bell they got from the Cincinnati Bengals, 3 years, $22.5 million, $13 million guaranteed. Again, most of the reason why these players from the Bengals that are leaving the Bengals is because obviously they're going to be paying Joe Burrow and freaking Jamar Chase in a few years. T. Higgins might be gone after next season because he probably will be the one guy that won't get the money.
Get your money now. Get your money now, because once Burrow gets signed, they're going to have to do a lot of wide dying to the salary cap to be able to stay relevant.
Yeah. Andy Dalton, they signed 2 years, $10 million, $8 million guaranteed. Now, how the hell this guy's agent's still finding this man to get guaranteed money? I have absolutely no clue, but Jesus, you got to give half that salary to your dang agent if he's getting you guaranteed dollars.
Yeah. Give him a high five while you're at it too.
And then they a few days ago they made a moves of signing Miles Sanders, the running back. So obviously that I would say that counteracts the fact that they lost Foreman to the Bears. So that's kind of it. But overall, it looks like they put like some solid moves to get their rookie quarterback. They can't be that dumb enough not to take a quarterback or trade that far back if they do trade back. But they put some good solid pieces around the quarterback. He just don't have a number one receiver to work with, but I think you can maybe get a receiver in the draft. Hopefully breaks out enough to be a number one, but there's no guarantee on that front.
No guarantee whatsoever. But again, we'll see. My guess is that they, obviously it shouldn't be a guess. It's a foregone conclusion. They will draft a quarterback. What they do after they draft the quarterback is, it will be the question. I mean, everyone is going to be watching the Carolina Panthers. Everyone's going to be watching the quarterback that they draft. So we'll see. But Carolina, for me, did a nice job at surrounding him with a really good, competent running back, a really good, competent tight end, and so we'll see. We'll see.
Going on to the Chicago Bears. Now, we did do a few discussions. Some of these players we already did a discussion. If you want to get our full thoughts on that as Bear fans, of if we like the move, we like the moves that we've been seeing in free agent. But if you want a more in-depth look on our thoughts about that, I'll leave it in the outro of this video if you want to click on that. But just to go over it, TJ Edwards, former Philadelphia Eagles linebacker, think he's gonna be solid for us. Whether he plays the mic or the will, who knows? But I think that was a good pickup. They signed Nate Davis, the guard from Tennessee Titans. And again, another solid pickup because they do need to improve the offensive line. So far, that's the only offensive line signing that they made. Gee. Then next up, obviously, I would say their biggest move in terms of free agent status. Okay, calm down. Was signing Tremaine Edmonds, the linebacker from the Buffalo Bills. That both actually shocked us that we got him. And the crazy thing is his deal is actually fairly cheap, because it's a front-loaded deal. He got 4 years, 72 million, 50 million guaranteed. Now I did do a video about the more recent acquisitions the Bears made. They ended up signing former Packers tight end Robert Tonyan. I already gave my thoughts about that on the video. I guess my uncle's thoughts on Robert Tonyan being a new signee for the Bears.
Um, Actually, with Komet, I thought it was actually pretty good signing. Um, I can honestly see them going a lot of double tight end sets. So I do like Tanya. Actually, I do like Tanya. So we'll see where it goes because obviously the Komet is still the number one tight end. I don't think that Tanya even comes and puts a dent into the roster to, for that. But I was really hoping that we would stand pat with running backs and try to draft one of these young studs in the draft. By the fact that they signed Homer and Deontay Foreman, I think that's a foregone conclusion, and we probably won't be looking at running backs in the draft.
I think to me, Homer's more of a. I think he's gonna be more a special teams guy more than running back dude.
Maybe, but I still think we probably need to make a splash at that position. Whether it be.
I don't think so. Personally,
I'm a big running back guy. You got to run the ball, and I would think that hopefully you don't do the majority of your running with your quarterback.
Well, I understand that, but personally, in my opinion,
Foreman is nice. It's a nice signing, but we only got him for 1 year.
I understand that.
We got him for 1 year. Homer, as you said, is a special teams guy. We got him for 2. So I honestly hope and feel that maybe in the 4th or 5th round, we we try to, if Jamar Gibbs or Bijan Robinson is available for Apple. That's all I'm saying.
They could be. I don't think Ryan Poles values running back that highly right now.
I don't believe so either. I would probably say, well, especially considering he came out of the Kansas City organization in which they pretty much did a running back by committee.
Yeah.
So yeah, I believe you're right there. Now, whether, someone gets in his ear and says, yeah, we really need to upgrade the RB room, then, moving forward, let's see. But I do think that they do need to upgrade the running back room. For me, is just right now at this particular moment is just 3 guys. There's no balance to it whatsoever.
I don't think they need to get a run. I think the running back room is fine. I think Foreman and Herbert. I think that's the new 1-2 punch they got going on now. We'll see how it plays. But if they draft one, I won't be mad. It will just depend where they draft and where I believe.
I get you there. I get you. I don't think rounds. Definitely not. No. With the 9th pick, definitely not with the 61st. So maybe a little bit later on, 4th, 5th, maybe even 6th round. Again, if we're at the 4th or 5th round, and Robinson and Jamar Gibbs is available. I'm like, hey, what the heck, man? Snatch the dudes up.
It will also depend on who they draft. If they don't draft enough offensive linemen or defensive linemen, I could see them going that route over running back, but we'll see. We'll see. They also
Well,
saw,
I'll say this real quick, and I know this is about free agency. We're about to get off into something different. But if Jalen Carter is gone, I can honestly see the Bears going Paris Johnson with that
I
ninth
think I
pick.
think that's the play to make. I think that's the play to
Yeah,
make.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree there. Even with the 61st pick,
Yeah.
um,
I think he'll be
if
gone by then.
yeah, well, Johnson will be gone by then for real. I'm just saying, but if there is another really good stud offensive lineman available at 61, then yeah, let's beef up, the OL room. It looks like we did with the signing of Demarcus Walker and Andrew Billings. Maybe we did, maybe you know, beef up the defensive line just a tad bit, and I'm pretty sure we'll probably be looking at another position during the draft this, but we'll see.
Yeah. They also
But
signed back.
all in all, I think the Bears in free agency have done magnificent.
Yep. They also signed backup quarterback PJ Walker, and then they cut Trevor Simeon. I said in the video, it makes sense why they did that. You need a quarterback that is similar in skill traits to
Yeah,
Justin Fields, so you don't have to change the play. Because we saw that Jets game, the playbook had to completely be changed because Trevor Simeon ain't a mobile quarterback.
yeah,
He's a pocket passing quarterback.
that's correct. So you
So
need a similar like quarterback so that there's no drop off and the play calling can remain the same.
yeah. And then if Justin Field gets hurt, well, PJ Walker can come in, be serviceable, and plus he already has a connection with DJ Moore because he came over from Carolina. So
Correct. And that's probably what it was probably more about that than anything else.
yeah. We're running out of time. We'll be back to talking more NFL free agent news and things like that. So we'll be back real quick. All right. Moving on from the Bears, we go to the Cincinnati Bengals. They re-signed their linebacker Jermaine Pratt. He had 99 combined tackles, one sack, two interceptions, one fumble recovery. They signed him to a 3-year, $21 million deal. Their biggest signee so far is them signing the offensive tackle Orlando Brown Jr. They gave him 4 years, $64 million, 64 million. The reason why he didn't go automatically like right off the board is because most teams don't value Orlando Brown. Adam Schefter said like more teams value him more like as a right tackle as opposed to a left tackle. And obviously teams were fine with having him as a right tackle. They just weren't willing to pay him the money that of a left tackle. Well, the Bengals, they have offensive line issues even going to the last season. So they're like, well, screw it. We got to improve our offensive line. It was kind of a guy that even though maybe he wasn't, and Ryan Poles, again, we're Bears fans. Ryan Poles, he did say like, well, he in his press conference, like I think yesterday, he said like, well, the reason why we didn't go after him because he just didn't fit our scheme. Um, Personally, I understand that, but it's like, well, the talent's there, and it's a good offensive lineman. He'll find a way to overcome the scheme, but that's kind of the thing is. But I think that's a good get for the Bengals. They need any offensive line help they can get, especially protect Joe Burrow, because that's their investment right there.
I think when Ryan Poles said he doesn't fit our scheme, I think scheme kind of implies, the dollar amount he wanted
Yeah,
as a football player. I don't think, Ryan Poles has been very smart when it comes to spending the Chicago Bears' money. He hasn't really just jumped off the page and said, yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and sign this guy to a gazillion dollars. Ryan Poles has been really good about making sure that he is very thrifty and signing the right player. But at the same time, he seems to be more concerned with signing the right player at the right dollar amount.
yeah,
Orlando Brown, in my opinion, wanted a little bit too much money. Um, you know, Granted, the position of offensive lineman is very valuable in the NFL, but at the same time, do you really want to spend over $20 million for an offensive lineman? I say no. I really do. You can find really good, solid offensive linemen at a really good price. And I think Ryan Poles wasn't prepared to pay $20 million to Orlando Brown or Jawan Taylor.
Yeah. Your thoughts on the move for the Bengals, though?
Overall, they're all right. I mean, for me, Pratt was a no-brainer. Um, you do have to have an offensive, a left tackle for Joe Burrow. They already had one, and now the thinking is to trade their current left tackle or
Yep.
move him the right tackle or just move Brown the
Oh no,
right tackle.
he
But if
wanted.
you bring Brown in for that kind of money, he's definitely your left tackle.
Yeah, I think it was Andrew Billing.
Andrew, yeah,
Yeah, he demanded a trade or something like that. So
right. And I would too, unless they can talk to him and get him to move the right tackle, which it doesn't seem like, that's going to happen, so we'll see. But, other than that, the Bengals really didn't make a great splash, you know,
saving all that money up for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a choice, man, because, next year, Joe Burrow, the year after that is going to be, Chase. And I
They might just
mean,
pay him. They might pay them both in the same year.
they got to.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to.
So moving on to the Cleveland Browns. They made some moves. Most of it is defensive. They signed defensive end Obo Okonkwo. His previous team was the Houston Texans. They signed him 3 years, 22 million, 12.5 million guaranteed. Last year, he had 44 combined tackles, 5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. I think he's just going to be there to replace a Jadeveon Clowney because Jadeveon Clowney is now a free agent there. So
Yeah.
that's the reason why they signed him. I think that's a solid pickup. If he had those type of stats, hey, I'd probably sign him too.
And they did it at a bargain basement price too.
Yeah.
They did it at a bargain price, bro. Where Clowney, man, sometimes you just wonder what's going on between the dude's ears, But
they signed a former Kansas City Chief safety Juan Thornhill. He had 71 combined tackles, 3 interceptions, and 9 passes defended. Signed him to 3 years, 21 million with 10 million guaranteed. Look, solid safety.
I mean, just good, solid defensive signings. They
signed Dalvin Tomlinson from the Minnesota Vikings. They gave him 4 year, 57 million, 27.5 million guaranteed.
And I mean, when you don't really have to, sign a quarterback, this will be Deshaun Watson's first full season as a Cleveland Brown. So we'll see where it goes. So what do you do as a recompense? You make sure that he's got a bunch of defensive guys on the other side of the football. So when he's ready to play, and the division is kind of on the it's kind of up for the taking, kind of, So with everything going on with Burrow, so you can kind of wonder, what's going to be going on with this division over the next couple of years. But at least the Cleveland Browns got their quarterback.
Yeah. The Dallas Cowboys, they've only made 2 signings. They re-signed Leighton Vander Esch, 2 years, 11 million. That's a pretty cheap deal. You would think he would ask for more. And then they re-signed Donovan Wilson, 3 years, 21 mil. That's the reported terms. They let go of Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, they franchised Tony Pollard too.
Yeah, I think we already talked about that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, they franchised Tony Pollard. They got Stephen Gilmore via trade.
Yeah, that's right. We forgot. They didn't have it on the list. They traded Stephen. I think that's actually a pretty good pickup for them.
I thought that was a good pickup as well, too, knowing you got Diggs on the other side. You got a really good solid corner, which allows, to get offenses to balance out their passing. So, they do still have Cooper Rush. I think they signed him for a couple.
They re-signed him.
So, on the outside looking in, it doesn't look that the Cowboys did too bad. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott needed to be gone long time, in my opinion, and they had to keep Pollard.
Yeah.
I think if they would have let Pollard go, I
And
think
kept his
he would have had a laundry list of teams vying for his services.
yeah.
But we'll see what happens with him and the broken leg.
Yeah.
But
That's a team that definitely they're gonna draft a running back.
yeah,
I
I
honestly, with Jerry Jones' crazy self, I could see him taking a running back in the first round.
I can see it too.
So Bijan or Gibby Gibbs might be gone.
Maybe, maybe. But let's it's more Stephen Jones that does the draft and not Jerry.
I think Jerry's gonna offer whatever his son does.
Probably.
So
Probably.
the Denver Broncos. First deals they made. Mike McGlinchey, the San Francisco 49ers former offensive tackle, 5 years, 87.5 million, 50 million guaranteed dollars. Now, we're Bears fans. The Bears were in on this guy and they let him go because of this prize. Now, Mike McGlinchey, practically what everybody says, he's an average, offensive lineman. The fact that the Denver Broncos paid him that much, he better freaking show up. I'll tell you that.
I agree. I mean, would I have opened up my bank account, to him like this? No. But
Yeah, like on this, they said he started all 17 games. He allowed 6 sacks. That's nice, but he's still
I mean,
average at best.
that's good, but
But
I mean, man, you know, roughly $90 million to an offensive lineman. I mean,
50 million guaranteed.
man, that
They're,
dude
and
got
the crazy thing is they also got Ben Powers, the offensive guard. 17 starts last year, 0 sacks allowed. They paid this guy less than what they're paying freaking Mike McGlinchey. He getting 4 years, not 5 years, 4 years,
4
52
years,
million,
52 million. Yeah. Yeah.
28.5 million guaranteed.
And McGlinchey would have signed for that probably if they had offered it to him.
Yeah.
But I mean, man, dude got like, man, wide receiver money. Goodness gracious.
He might
You know,
he look
uh,
his agent did a good job. You get the most money possible.
yeah, I know that's right. Shit, we need to have a pizza party for that agent. That's,
I'll say this. I do like the Ben Powers move. That's a good sign right there.
in a sense, I like the move of them both. But,
Yeah.
money aside, let's just throw money out the window for a second.
Yeah.
The Broncos did pick up two really good offensive linemen. What they do with the offensive linemen is what's going to be the question once the season hits.
Yep.
But they did sign two capable and talented offensive linemen. So, Russell Wilson will have, his, a nice complement of protection up front. Is that going to help? That's going to be the key.
Yeah. They signed backup Jared Stidham. Nothing else there. They signed former Arizona Cardinals defensive lineman Zach Allen. Last year had 47 total tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 20 quarterback hits. They signed him to a 3-year, $45.75 million deal, and then gave him $32.5 million guaranteed. Obviously, that's pretty good for them. They obviously traded away Bradley Chubb. They need to get another defensive lineman to at least add some quarterback pressures right there to improve their defense that typically plays solid, football. It's just the last few years it's been the offense of the ball that's been a problem for them.
Yeah, yeah. So, like I said, we'll see. I mean, again, going back to the offensive lineman, the two offensive linemen will be a big assistance to the wide receiver room, the running back room, and obviously the quarterback room. So again, we'll see how it goes. It's still the AFC West. I mean, yeah, the AFC West. So it's not like it's going to be easy.
Yeah. The other two signings was Alex Singleton, linebacker. They gave him 3 years, 18 million, 9 million guaranteed. And then Samaje Perine they got from the Cincinnati Bengals. At a 2-year, $7.5 million deal.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Detroit Lions, they made some solid signings as well, because obviously they see there's a chance to try to compete for the NFC North title this upcoming season. They signed Cam Sutton, the cornerback from the Pittsburgh Steelers. They gave him 3 years, 33 million, 22.5 million guaranteed. He had 43 combined tackles, 3 interceptions, and 15 pass defended. They re-signed their linebacker Alex Anzalone. He was actually pretty solid for them last year. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
he
Um,
was.
3 years, 18.75 million, which honestly, I think that's honestly kind of a team-friendly deal right there. For
Hmm.
back. And
I mean,
then,
looking at them, all of them are team friendly deals.
oh yeah,
Yeah, there's nothing that really stands out to be like, man, they gave that dude that kind of money, So the Lions are doing things a little bit differently than what we're used to in the NFL.
yep. They also signed a former Chicago Bears running back, David Montgomery. He signed a 3-year, $18 million deal, got 11 million in guarantees. I think they signed somebody else, but it's not on this list for some reason. It didn't update yet.
They got Isaiah Buggs, defensive lineman,
Yeah.
2 years, $4.5 million. Um, roll tide, but you know, the
Yeah,
Lion, the Lions, we need to, keep a look at the Lions. Now, granted, Jamal Williams,
he did leave. But I
yeah,
think
he
David
did.
Montgomery's his replacement.
Well, correct, because Isaiah Williams was mostly, I mean, he was good, but they used him a lot. His touchdown numbers were pretty high because they used him a lot in the red zone, and he got a lot of touchdowns because of it. So, David Montgomery's price tag came in at a pretty good cap friendly deal. We knew in Chicago that he wasn't gonna get re-signed. Um, I think the Bears were needing players with a little bit more speed.
Yep.
Uh, and Montgomery's speed was tailing downward. So, but the Lions signing him is, typical in our division, whereas, let's sign players from another team. It'll motivate them to beat that team, considering we play them twice a year.
Yeah.
So we'll
Uh,
see.
I definitely do think Montgomery fits whatever freaking the coach stands for in terms of biting kneecaps and things like that. But
Well, we can joke around about Dan Campbell all we want, but let's
yeah.
just look at the man his credit.
Yeah.
I mean, he put together a really good season last year. And right now the Detroit Lions are standing in a pretty good position to win the division next year. So
Yeah.
um, although it was a real off comment, really weird, never heard that in the NFL. Lions look good coming into the next season.
Yep. I said in my Bears video, I think, Ryan Poles always said he wanted fast, explosive players.
Yeah.
You know, David Montgomery, for all his positives he gave the Bears, the one thing he isn't fast. I do think the strength does make him a bit explosive, but the one thing is when you combine him on a long run getting 30 yards off a big run or 30 to 40 yards compared to say Herbert that might get 30, maybe almost 50 yards on one run alone and maybe get a breakaway touchdown right then and there. Like I remember
Yeah.
one game Montgomery had, I think we were playing the Texans. He had a big run. He could it should have been a touchdown, but he wasn't as fast enough to have that breakaway speed to get that touchdown. But again, solid moves by the Lions. I can't really hate except when we play
No,
them. And
no.
if the Bears get better, I think we can honestly beat those guys. And you know, I think the NFC North with Aaron Rodgers leaving is definitely a division that's up for grabs. The Vikings are doing whatever the hell they're doing by just cutting costs, which they should have
Yep.
did a year ago, like the Bears did. Um, Aaron Rodgers is gone. Right now, I would say it's an open division. And if we're being honest, the Bears did play the Lions in that first game pretty much to the limit, if not for a few mistakes at home. The Bears could have won that game. And obviously, the game in Detroit, that was just an aberration game. You know, the Bears practically gave up that game. Um,
Yeah, we were really playing for draft picks at that particular moment. So, but new season's coming up, and we'll see what happens.
uh, The Super Bowl runner-up, Philadelphia Eagles, they made some solid moves. They signed running back Rashard Penny. They gave him, I guess the reported deal is a 1 year deal, but I thought they signed him to more. I don't know. I think they signed him to more, but whatever. Um, hey, that's a solid running back, right there. That obviously replaces what Miles Sanders did right then and there. They're
I don't know if he like replaces what Sanders does. For me, Penny is more of a power back
that is true.
than yeah, he's more of a power back, and Miles Sanders is more elusive.
Maybe
You know,
Gainwell is that replacement for Sanders. He looks
maybe,
pretty good.
maybe. Yeah, he did look pretty good. I think with the year Gainwell had, it really does move Miles Sanders out. So you have that contrast of thunder and lightning, so to speak.
Mhm.
So whereas before it was just, they were, Gainwell and Sanders were similar, and they just didn't have that offset of a short yardage back, which I don't. I mean, Rashad Penny is not a short yardage back by no stretch of the imagination,
Yeah.
but he is a little bit stronger back that can run between the tackles and move the chains.
Yeah.
So I did like that.
They ended up also resigning James Bradbury, Fletcher Cox, and Jason Kelsey. Bradbury got a 3 year, $38 million deal with 20 million guaranteed. Also, it looked like Darius Slay would get traded away, but they
No,
actually ended
no,
up
they
resigning him.
signed. Yeah, they signed him for 2 years.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that they would let him go because Chicago, we could use another cornerback. I'm not I was a big fan of Jalen Johnson last year,
Mhm.
but it would have been nice to bring Slay in, you know, but the Eagles wound up signing both of their bookend cornerbacks and James Bradbury and Darius Slay. So they'll both be on the roster for the next couple of years.
Yeah. You would only have to think that I guess Gardner Johnson probably is going to leave for free agency because of that. So yeah, and then obviously they signed their two veteran players, Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelsey, to team friendly 1 year deals. I feel like I could definitely see those two retiring after this upcoming season.
Yeah,
They're
me
pretty up there in age, and
too.
things like that. So yeah,
And you know what? They're all into. I'm pretty sure they're all into making another Super Bowl run, which makes some sense with the Rashad Penny signing. You know, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with them and how they go. But I'm pretty sure they're really bringing everybody back for another run.
yeah. Houston Texans, they made two signings. They signed Jimmy Ward from the 49ers, and he's gonna go reunite with what is it, D'Amico Ryans in Houston. Now he actually signed a fairly cheap deal, 2 years, 13 mil.
Now they did. They made some considerable signings here as well too. Will it get them out of the basement?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I mean, I don't really see anybody here that's gonna just that jumps off at me. Robert Woods,
Yeah,
2 years would be is a pretty good signing. Um, but other than that, I really don't see anybody here that just jumps off the page. Sheldon Rankins is a capable defensive tackle. Um, that can probably, assist and, win at the line of scrimmage. He might, help you win one game, maybe two.
yeah,
But, Texas is going to be looking at another, high draft pick, more than likely top five.
yeah. The Colts, they I just laugh at the Colts because they didn't get the first pick, even though you had Ursay on freaking Twitter saying, I've been friends with Bears since like 19 something. I'm like, oh my god, this guy is
Yeah,
desperate.
Ballard was, made a lot of, uh, comments as well too. But they sounded like he was defending their position at number 4. We don't necessarily need to move up, all the other kind of stuff. So I'm pretty sure that they tried really hard.
It's
And
just
but I think
when you compare, like, say, you compare Michael
I mean,
Pittman to DJ Moore, who you taking?
oh man, DJ Moore.
Simple enough. That's why.
Yeah, DJ Moore, man. DJ Moore can take the top off of defense. I mean, for me, Pittman can't. And it seems like to me, with polls coming from the Kansas City Chiefs organization, that he values speed.
Yep. That's what he said in
And
his introductory press conference. He wanted fast, explosive guys.
well, yeah, he values speed, over over height, you know. So DJ Moore was it wasn't, not necessarily a no-brainer. But when you compare Pittman to DJ Brown, DJ Moore, yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Yep.
I'd go with Moore every time.
Yep. The Colts signed Samson Ikabukem, the defensive lineman, 3 years, 27 million. He came from the San Francisco 49ers. Solid pickup just to improve their defensive line. And then they
Well, I
also
mean, look, if you look at the Colts overall signing, their biggest splash was signing their kicker.
Let's go.
Signing their kicker.
Yep. Jacksonville Jaguars. Moving on from them, the Colts also signed Gardner Minshew, but he's going to probably be the backup quarterback. So
Maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Jacksonville Jaguars. They re-signed Roy Robertson Harris. 3 years, 30 million guaranteed. We already know they put Evan Ingram on the franchise tag. That's pretty much it, unless there's any other signings you see. No.
Jacksonville, no. I mean, he was great for my fantasy league.
Yeah. The Super Bowl champions, Kansas City. They really haven't made any moves. There were some departures. Obviously, they cut Fred Clark because cap casualty right there.
And then signed Jawan Taylor to the same amount of money.
Yeah, they signed Jawan Taylor from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
But that's what you do when you got a franchise quarterback. You got a franchise quarterback. You have to figure out ways to, protect him. And, granted, edge rusher is not as important as protecting the backside of your franchise quarterback.
Yeah, which I think Jawan Taylor leaving the Jacksonville Jaguars, that could actually hurt Jacksonville right there because he was actually pretty solid for them.
Maybe.
Jawan Taylor, he signed a 4-year, $80 million a deal, $60 million guaranteed. He practically they've already specified like he's gonna be the new left tackle. Now he played right tackle. He's gonna be switching over to play left tackle now, which is the reason why Orlando Brown left. I think that's a solid pickup. You got to protect Patrick Mahomes, and then they also got defensive tackle Charles Omenihu from the San Francisco 49ers at 2 years, $20 million.
Yeah, man. When you bring in a guy that makes in 2 years what Frank Clark was making in 1, I mean, that was good cap friendly deal. So let's see how it comes out. You think he'll be the same as Frank Clark? We don't know. Frank Clark really didn't, for me, didn't really do much until the playoffs rolled around.
Yeah. Moving on to one of my uncle's favorite teams, the Las Vegas Raiders. They're obviously their biggest signing of this year, Jimmy Garoppolo. And they made this buster $67.5 million, $34 million guaranteed. Now, why these teams keep paying Jimmy Garoppolo, I have no idea, but his agent must be good.
What do I say about the Raiders? Don't trust them. Don't trust the Raiders. Don't trust them. I'm shocked. They franchised Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
Jacoby Myers was a decent sign.
I think they overpaid him, to be honest.
I thought they overpaid him too. But looking at the signs, nothing really here that really just jumps off at the screen for me. So I'll just end with the Raiders by saying I don't trust them, and there's nothing that I can see that'll make me trust them.
Yeah, only at least Jimmy G's back with Josh McDaniels, but I don't see the Raiders doing anything. To me, Jimmy G's on the same level as Derek Carr. Just an average quarterback that you hope overachieves. So they got Mike Epps from Philadelphia.
They did sign him for less money than what Carr got.
That is true.
Yeah.
Why Marcus Epps would leave Philadelphia? Well, maybe because they're getting him $12 million, $8 million guaranteed. I guess that's my guess.
I'd leave for the money too.
So, and plus it's Las Vegas. Who turns down Las Vegas? I think you would rather live in Las Vegas more than Philadelphia, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a warm climate, So it's Vegas,
Yeah.
but it's the Raiders, man.
And then they also got Jerry Tillery. They re-signed him. 2 years, 8 million with 5.6 million guaranteed.
That was a good
Moving
sign.
on to the Ravers, the rivals, the Chargers. They really haven't made some moves. Not really. The only move they made is Eric Kendricks, I believe, 2 year
Yeah,
deal. He's going back
yeah,
to Los Angeles, his roots, because he used to play at UCLA.
yeah.
And that's good. I think it's a good move for them. He's obviously up
Yeah,
there in age, but it's
it's
good
a
for them.
good move. Nothing that really jumps off the page for me that the Chargers did, but maybe at some point they'll probably start looking to, put some depth in that wide receiver room and maybe look to try to, bring Eckler back.
Well, Eckler already. It looks like Eckler's gonna be gone, but
Yeah, I was about to say he ain't hanging around.
because if the Chargers said, okay, yeah, you can look into like a trade partner, well then it looks like they're just gonna move on from him.
Yeah, I
Now,
think so too.
again, will a team be willing to give up obviously more than likely draft picks for Austin Eckler? I don't think so.
Who's going? First of all, he's doomed because he's a running back.
Yeah.
He should automatically know that. Once you hit 28, your clock is ticking. So um, he's doomed from the start. It just he's doomed from the start because of the position he plays.
Yeah. That's why I don't want the Bears to trade for him. I
Yeah,
get
no, no. Why give up? Why give up capital in other areas for a running back? The game is not suited for running backs anymore.
nope. Miami Dolphins, they made some solid moves. Obviously, their biggest move is trading for Jalen Ramsey. He practically is gonna replace the cornerback that retired because of just too much injuries he had over the course of his career.
Well, I mean, for me, the better signing was Mike White for 2 years. For me,
What?
that's the better signing for me. I mean, the defense was already solid. They need someone that can come in and spell
Mike
two.
White, though, you saw what he did for the Jets last
Yeah, I know he was bad for the Jets, but that was probably because, on the offensive side of the ball, they just really didn't have a coach that can actually do it. McDaniel was really good on the offensive side of the ball, and I think he can actually do more with Mike White than what the Jets could. And they need that security blanket for Tua in the event he cannot compete. They gotta have that. Now, getting Jalen Ramsey was great. Don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. Jalen Ramsey is a great corner, probably one of the definitely top 5 in the league. But the problem with Miami last year was when Tua went down, they did not have a solid backup. And now they do.
Okay. They also signed former Tennessee Titans linebacker David Long Jr.
Yep. And they brought back Wilson and Mostert in the backfield. So that was also a good thing as well, too. So, don't sneeze on the Mike White thing just yet. I get what you're saying about how he performed you know, in New York, but
To
you
me,
know,
I just think a backup quarterback being more important than Jalen Ramsey signing, that's something.
man, listen, just as well as I do playing football that the quarterback makes an NFL team go.
Yeah.
You got to have a quarterback. You got to. And when Tua, I mean, how many games? I think Tua just missed more than he played.
Yeah.
He wasn't even available for the playoff game.
Yep.
You got to be able to have a quarterback on the field.
Yep. Moving to the Minnesota Vikings. They cut a lot of guys. I can tell you that. I'm not going to identify which guys they cut, but they cut a lot of
Yeah.
guys. Some of the moves they
Yeah.
made. They re-signed Josh Oliver, 3 years, 21 million, 10.75 million guaranteed. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Marcus Davenport. They got him from the Saints on a 1 year, $13 million deal. Resigned Garrett Bradbury, the center, 3 years, 15.75 mil. Resigned Greg Joseph. And they got Byron Murphy Jr. from the Cardinals.
Yeah. So I mean, all in all, it was good signings. And then on top of that, they separated themselves from Adam Thielen. So we'll, I mean, the Vikings looks like they're probably going to go into the season with the same, if not a similar football team as they went in last season. And again, they won the division. They were decently dominant, decently dominant. They won a lot of games, and they're the division. They're the division leader. So didn't seem like there was much they need to change, other than what they need to do on the defensive side of the ball.
Yep. New England Patriots, my boys, Matt Swarmstead team. They re-signed Jonathan Jones. He had 20 or 69 combined tackles, 4 interceptions, 11 passes defended. They re-signed him 2 years, 20 million, 13 million guaranteed. They signed Riley Reef. He's only on a 1-year deal. Again, I think Riley Reef's just an average tackle. That's kind of it.
Yeah.
They signed Juju Smith-Schuster. He got a 33 year
He
deal.
got overpaid. He got way overpaid. They gave him the same amount of money that Jacoby Myers got, almost. I mean,
Yeah.
Overpaid.
I guess that's some help to Mac Jones. So that's just good.
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
signed Mike Gesicki for
yeah.
$9 million. And you know how I feel about signing tight ends for that kind of money. I would have just
Well, it's a 1-year deal though. It's a one
overpaid.
year. It's a 1-year deal though.
Overpaid.
But it's a 1-year deal though. That's chump
Overpaid.
change. That's chump change.
Overpaid.
You think that's overpaid for
A,
on
a
a one
journey
year deal?
a journeyman tight end, yes,
I guess he's only
overpaid.
been on one team though. He's only been on the Dolphins his entire career.
Overpaid.
Okay.
McDaniel came in knowing that Gesicki was not his guy.
Okay. They also signed James Robinson.
That was a good signing, though. That's a good signing for them.
Yeah, 2 years. So yeah, we can stop here, or we can just finish out the rest of the other teams.
I don't think we can in the time we have, so let's just go ahead and start another one.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll be back, and we'll continue on with some of these other 32 teams. So we'll be back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got.
All right, all right. So moving on to the New Orleans Saints now. Obviously we talked about Derek Carr in the first video. He signed. Again, Saints should be division leaders. Derek Carr, I would say, has been the best quarterback since they had Drew Brees, but who knows? They re-signed Jameis Winston. He's gonna be the backup. Now he signed a 1-year deal, so okay, that's kind of thing there. They re-signed Jawan Johnson, the tight end, 2 years, 12 million, 8.5 million guaranteed. Anything to say about that? Tight ends.
No.
They did
Well,
get.
I was gonna say 3 years, 11 million.
No, they signed him 2 years, 12.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But Mike Gesicki have an issue of giving him 9 million on a 1-year deal.
Jawan Johnson, 2 years, 12 million. That's still 6 million.
Okay.
It's not like it's it's teetering on what I would give a tight end.
Okay.
Because if you ain't Gronkowski, Dave Casper, Jason Kelsey, Tony Gonzalez, just don't think you're worth $10 million a year.
Yeah. They signed Kalen Saunders, the defensive tackle from the Kansas City Chiefs. They give him a 3-year, $14.5 million deal. He had 3.5 sacks, 48 tackles.
Yeah, that's a good signing right there. Nice cap-friendly deal. Michael Thomas, 1 year, 10.
I think that's the last year. I think it's going to be a prove-it deal for him with the Saints.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that too. New quarterback, so it's just one of them things where it's hey man, if you can do this, we might be able to, fork over some dollars, but you've just been hurt too much for us, bro.
Yep. And then they signed Jamal Williams, the running back from the Lions. They gave him 3 years, 12 million with 8 million guaranteed. Good, thank you, Miami. Sorry.
He signed for less money.
He signed for less money than, and the thing is, he wanted the Lions to pay him up, and they paid Montgomery slightly more than they did him.
Mm.
But they Lions gave Montgomery more, and they gave him 18 million. He only got 12 million with the Saints, and he got less guaranteed dollars.
Yeah, he got less overall.
I kind of find that somewhat disrespectful.
I find that a little bit disrespectful too. Maybe it was more about grabbing someone from the division. Who knows what goes on in these signings? Jamal Williams probably wanted more, considering he had 20 touchdowns or close to 20 touchdowns a season over the past 2 years.
Yep.
But I think that's more about the Lions scheme, or I'm pretty sure that's what the Lions think, and it's more about their scheme than the player.
Yeah. I did see his interview. He was wearing a freaking Eevee hat. If you don't know what Eevee is, from the game Pokemon. I thought it was funny, and he was telling the reporters about it. Listen, I like that guy. He was just, hey, he's just expressing what he likes, and I can't hate. I might honestly have to cop a jersey if he continues to be like this, because it's the way he likes stuff like I do. I'll take it. New York Giants. They made some solid moves. They signed Bobby Okerley, linebacker from the Indianapolis Colts. They gave him a 4-year, $40 million deal, 22 million guaranteed. Now, I know the Bears were targeting him, as my screen is glitching out. And I'll change it all up. Hold on a quick second.
Yeah, I get it. Says your network bandwidth is low.
Hold on. Okay, I should be good. I had to turn off the HD camera.
I did like the Giants signings. I really like the Giants signings. I mean, the Giants signings for me are indicative of what they hope to accomplish as a football team next year. Bringing back Daniel Jones of 4 years, $160 million, signing Saquon Barkley to the franchise tag, picking up Darren Waller via trade.
For a third-round pick. Now, what does that tell you what the Raiders thought of him?
Well, Randy Moss was traded for a 4th-round pick. I'll say that. So, I mean, nothing doesn't really shock me as far as these trades when it relates to a draft pick, But, Darren Waller's been a Pro Bowl tight end for the better part of 3 or 4 years. So, but again, like I say, I mean, he probably said the same thing I've been saying. Don't trust the Raiders. Get me the heck out of here.
Yeah. It's funny because he married Las Vegas Aces star Kelsey Plum. So now they were living in the same city again. Now they got to be apart from each other.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, life of an athlete, but they did sign linebacker, Bobby Okereke for 4 years, $40 million. Raheem Munez Roche for 3 years, $12 million, which is a really nice cap-friendly deal. I did like that as well too. They brought in, Matt Breida. So I did like that as well too. Sterling Shepard they brought back. So and they brought back Darius Slayton and Paris Campbell. So, I mean, one thing that a lot of people kept saying about the Giants is that they had some damaging injuries in that wide receiver room. Really tough. So that, Daniel Jones had to do a little bit more than what your normal quarterbacks had to do for them to win. So now that they done improved upon the wide receiver room, they got Darren Waller. And I think Darren Waller's worth more than $10 million. So yes, but
Yep. Solid moves. Their New York Jets counterparts. We already know talk about
Golly gee.
Aaron Rodgers. They re-signed Quincy Williams, the linebacker, 3 years, 18 million. It maxes out at 21 million.
Yeah.
They signed Alan Lazard, obviously, to please Aaron Rodgers.
They overpaid for him. You're gonna get this dude 4 year, $44 million. And he wasn't really Aaron Rodgers' number one target.
His stats last year: 66, I guess, targets, 788 yards, 6 TDs.
And you just forked over what, 11, $12 million for that?
Aaron Rodgers wanted him.
Jets gonna be in last place next year.
You really think so?
Man, Jets gonna be in last place next year. In that division, come on, man.
Any other
Yeah.
signings that they made?
Yeah, they picked up Greg the Leg.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They signed old Patrick Peterson. 2 years deal. I feel like this will probably be the last contract he'll get, and then he'll call it a career.
I think so too.
Solid move, but the thing is, he's just kind of older, so he might get burnt from time to time. Who knows? And then they got Cole Holcomb, linebacker from Washington Commanders. I believe that's all their moves, to my knowledge.
Eh.
Yeah, they don't really do much.
But at the same time, though, I mean, Kenny Pickett's going to be a really good quarterback for them. That wide receiver room is still really good. I'm shocked that they really didn't make any. Well, they did. Nate Herbig, on the offensive line of guard, 2 years, $8 million. So I mean, that was a decent signing. So we'll see. But they didn't really, their free agent signings don't really jump off the page at you.
Yep. Good thing I just checked my bracket. I moved up to 9th place. I was like dead last. Good.
Wow, that's good. There you go. There you go.
Uh,
And maybe Tennessee will beat Duke. And
I actually have Duke beating Tennessee, but
of course, the house you live in, I'm not shocked, not one bit. But at least you got your uncle's team in the championship game.
yeah. Moving on to San Francisco. They made some well, the one move they made, Javon Hargrave. 4 years, 80 million, 40 million
And
guaranteed.
he is 30.
He was good this year or this past season.
Damn good. It was damn good. But was it the player or was it the scheme? Was it the balance that they had on the offensive line, which allowed him to do what he has to do? But he's going to have the same balance in San Francisco. Yep. So I don't expect a drop off.
Yeah. Now, maybe by the third year, probably, because he's going to be 33.
33?
33, 34. I think he's probably got 2 more really good years in him. And then when he gets 33, I think that's when the body's just going to wear out. And then,
yeah.
The 49ers could potentially be like regarding the contract, and maybe he'll probably be a cap casualty. So,
correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
They also
but other than that, they made some cap friendly deals. Sam Darnold, Tayshaun Gibson. Looking down the list, don't really see again anyone else. Tabor Pepper, but that's a long snapper. I mean, just they really didn't do anything. But at the same time, the 49ers are still the 49ers, and their issues are going to be more,
quarterback.
Which quarterback? Which quarterback? Which quarterback? Personally, I think it's going to be Purdy.
Well, Purdy, he had to get surgery in his arm. He might not be back.
Well, yeah, we're talking what? We're in March right now. Training camps don't really start until what? July?
June, July.
Preseason is, I mean, honestly, he probably depending on the total damage. He might be back for the start of the season, but I still say Purdy's the quarterback to beat in that role.
Oh, so you're just giving up on Trey Lance?
Purdy proved he can throw the football.
Hey, Trey Lance did look pretty impressive in that first game against the Bears in rainy weather. I'm just saying.
They didn't become a Super Bowl contender until you know Purdy became their quarterback.
Well, Jimmy Garoppolo got them halfway there, though.
Yeah, well, at least Jimmy's not there to muddy the waters.
Yeah, well, they got Sam Darnold, so he ain't no better though.
No,
So yeah,
but uh, I said this throughout the entire football year about the San Francisco 49ers. Their their biggest asset is Kyle Shanahan.
yep,
Regardless of who back position, Kyle Shanahan knows how to call offensive football,
yep,
just not in the playoff.
yeah. Seattle. Obviously we talked about Geno Smith in the last video. I thought he kind of got slightly overpaid, even though he had a really good year last year. But he better live up to that contract the next 3 years, otherwise they'll definitely be in the services of a quarterback in the coming years for Seattle. They signed Draymond Jones, 3 years, 51.53 million, from the Denver Broncos. In 13 starts, he had 47 combined tackles, 6.5 sacks, one forced fumble. I think that's a solid move for them.
I mean, given the salaries of quarterbacks nowadays, I don't really think they overpaid Geno Smith.
Yeah,
Yeah. But when you got freaking Aaron Rodgers, damn near 40, making damn near $50 million. For me, that's overpayment. So, but also looking at the again, it looks like their biggest splash outside of Jones and Smith is a kicker.
yeah.
So, yeah.
They also
They,
got
they got Drew Lock and Devin Bush.
yeah,
Might be a good signing for the Seattle Seahawks. So we'll see.
yeah,
Let's just
yeah.
hope that they don't draft Jalen Carter falls to number 9.
Hey, I think no team taking Jalen Carter with his pathetic pro day self. I think honestly, I see Jalen Carter dropping mid early second round. I think that's how far he drops.
Yeah,
So
probably because all the stress of what he went through, and this probably just paves the way for us to go ahead and draft Paris Johnson at
yep,
number 9.
yeah. And then also too, I said it before. I think teams are now have when they interview this guy face to face, they're gonna have to ask him like, does he love the game of football now, even with all these issues coming up? And
Yeah, but I bet you if he's available at 61, they're gonna take him.
yeah, they'll be the team that'll try to unlock him.
Yep.
They also got Jaron Reed, defensive tackle from the Broncos, 2 years, 10.8 million. He had 52 combined tackles and 14 starts, 2.5 sacks, and one forced fumble. Moving on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Post Tom Brady era, I guess. They re-signed Jamel Dean, 4 years, 52 million. They signed Baker Mayfield. He more than likely is gonna be the starting quarterback over Kyle Trask. Take that from what you will, but I tweeted going from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield is the definition of mid. So
It's the definition of last place.
hey, you still got Mike Willie, or not Mike Williams, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Yeah. Still the definition of last place.
Probably.
Let's see. You got the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Panthers, and the Falcons. Okay, maybe not.
Maybe
Maybe
third
not last.
place. Maybe third.
But I mean, the Saints looks like the front runners for that
Yeah.
division. Can they get 10 wins? We'll see.
I think it's doable for them. They have a solid team.
In this division, yeah, because they got to play everybody at least twice. All you have to do is just beat everybody in your division. That's 6 wins right off the top.
Yep. So yeah. They also re-signed Levante David. I think this probably might be his last year. He only signed a 1 year deal. Pretty team friendly, 8.5 million. They
Yeah,
got Chase Edmonds from the Broncos, 1 year deal. Nothing really. It's just gonna be the Buccaneers trying to figure out what to do post Tom Brady. Um,
correct.
Maybe they just have a bad year and they get the first pick or at least top five pick. Maybe they go a chance at swinging at either Drake May or Caleb Williams, preferably. It's pretty much it.
Yep. 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 I don't really see too much of anything going on with Tampa Bay.
Um, Tennessee, only move, they made is Arden Key, defensive lineman from Jacksonville, gave him 3 years, 21 million with 13 million guaranteed. Nothing really.
Yeah, and the Bears basically, I wouldn't say the Bears really did them in, but the Bears did get two of their players.
Yeah.
You know, the majority of what the Bears did in the offseason reflect basically, the Titans and the Panthers just pretty much just Bears got these two franchises really good. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But I thought Arden Key was a really good signing. I was, I think we were talking earlier, and I think I mentioned to you that you gave me a list of the players that the Bears were interested in. And of those players, I thought Key was probably the one that I thought the Bears would go after. And it seemed like they signed him to a nice cap friendly deal, 3 years, 21 million. So, but other than that, again, looking at the list, it was But Arden Key is the one that steps out to me as a really good signing for the Titans.
Yep. And then the last team, the Washington Commanders, they signed two offensive linemen. They got Andrew Wiley from the Kansas City Chiefs, 3 years, 24 million. Obviously, I think we know why Andrew Wiley went there. The ties to Eric Bieniemy, and then they also
Yeah.
signed Nick Gates, offensive lineman, 3 years, 16.5 million, 8 million guaranteed from the New York Giants. That's just to bolster their offensive line because I guess they're going with freaking Sam Howell unless they start
They
Jacoby.
don't have a choice. What I mean, Heineke's gone.
Well, they got Brissett, but he's nothing special.
Nope.
So they're probably gonna go Howell. If they finish bad enough, again, they'll be in the services for Caleb Williams or Drake May.
Yeah.
So,
But the Commanders were teetering on a playoff spot last year. They just couldn't confirm the back position. I mean, they just couldn't do it. Carson Wentz, Taylor Heineke. I mean, they couldn't do it. So now it's going to be up to Sam Howell to see if they can probably, try to bring this together, and let's see what happens. At least the defense is going to be nice with, Payne and Allen, handling the interior, Roll Tide, but I can probably see them, if Howell balls out, I can see them getting double-digit wins. Yeah. But he's got to ball out.
Yeah. Before we go, there's some notable free agents that are still kind of out there on the market. Odell Beckham Jr., obviously. DJ Chark, he was pretty solid receiver. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, we mentioned him. What is it? Yannick Ngakwe, from the former Colts. I kind of hope the Bears maybe get him. Maybe Paul or Eberflus can say, like, hey, let's try to see if we can get this guy on a team-friendly deal. Dalton Schultz, he's still out there for any teams that need a tight end. I would honestly want the Bears to get Isaac Samalo.
He'll get signed for less than $10 million, I bet you.
Who? Schultz? Probably. Maybe he'll return to the Cowboys. I don't know.
Right. 3-year, $20 million deal, something like that.
Yeah. I said I hope the Bears go after and get this guy, Isaac Samalo, the guard from the Eagles. He was pretty good.
Right now, I think we're going to be more interested in seeing if we can solidify the right tackle position. So We'll see. I don't foresee them signing any more guards.
Yeah. I was just saying, well, if they get him, well, maybe you have Braxton Jones in the left tackle. Um, oh, well, then you would have to draft a left guard now. So no,
Correct.
you would if you get Samalo, you put Samalo at left guard. The way they're talking, Cody Whitehair is not going to be cut, so they're going to probably the way Poles was talking, they're more than likely moving back to center.
Boom back
Whitehair
to
at
center.
center.
You know,
Nate
and then
Davis,
what
your
do
right
you
guard.
do? And then you put Tevin
Devin
Jenkins
Jenkins,
at
right
right
tackle.
tackle
Yeah, if they were to get him,
if
uh,
they were to get.
it looks like they might invest in the draft for right tackle, but we'll see. I would if the Bears get him, hey, I'll take him, and then you could just rearrange your offensive line, right then and there. And heck, even though the Bears still, they're kind of Poles and the Bears front office, they're kind of shaky on Tevin Jenkins, so
Yeah, I
they could still,
mean they don't really know where they want to put him.
yeah.
But I know they want to be versatile on the offensive line. Now, is that versatility a good thing when dealing with the offensive line? Maybe, but long run, what I'm hoping is that they draft Paris Johnson. There's your new right tackle. Jones is your left tackle. Davis and Jenkins are your guards, and then Whitehair is your center. That's for me best case scenario.
Yeah. Overall, that's kind of it. What we got to say for our NFL stuff. But if there's any other moves, then I'll definitely talk about it. But so far we're kind of just seeing what other free agent moves made. And then we're really just waiting for the draft to get started. Like I just can't wait to talk about what this draft is going to be. And we only have a month.
I
So
mean, I think after the first 10 picks, I don't know what you're going to see. You may see a little bit, but for us as Bears fans, I think we're going to be watching every little bit of it, but from a national standpoint, this is not really a deep draft.
well, it's deep. I say it's deep in offensive lineman and defensive lineman though.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. Which again, considering it's deep in interior linemen, that we may pass on a lineman at number 9. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I don't foresee it. My prediction is going to be Johnson at number 9, offensive lineman.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to happen there. I'll be pretty disappointed if that doesn't happen. Like, I'll just be like, what are we doing here then?
Especially with Carter's pro day, and just he didn't look good at all, man.
Yeah, he didn't.
He didn't look good at all. So, I mean, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Anyways, guys, we're gonna get out of here. If you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on the free agent moves. If there's one of your favorite teams that you like and you liked one of their moves, put it in the comment section to give us your thoughts and things like that. But other than that, we're gonna get out of here. And we'll see you for whatever next video that we have. Only other thing I could think of collaboration wise is probably the draft. And after that, that's
draft. Yep, that's what I'm looking forward to. Draft next month. Can't wait.
So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna get out of here, or we're gonna get out of here. Catch you guys next video. Till then, guys. Peace.